feel like you can never be yourself, or you can never say how you really feel. Yeah. When the sun down, my mind is on the rundown. I be feeling like my happiness is on the come down. But when I speak to you, I feel like it's a touchdown. Finally found me someone I can really trust now. I always had so much to say, but no one to say it to. If I can talk to you today, I know I can make it through. So let's have this conversation like a radio station. So let's have this conversation like a radio station.
It's finally Friday, and it's time for the conversation with Maria Byrd.
What's up? What's up? Welcome back. You are listening to the conversation with Maria Byrd. And guess what, you guys? I'm super excited about today's show. We have a very special guest with us today. He is an innovator, a coach, an author, and I like to call him the Transformer. You know, I absolutely love the ministry of our guest today, and it's truly an honor to have him with us here on the show. Please help me welcome my very special guest to the show, Dr. Rodney B Jackson. Welcome to the show, Dr. Rodney.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's an honor to be here, and I have been excited about this show ever since you called me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I am excited, too. How have you been?
I have been doing well. God has been good, and
Yes.
Just excited about life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you know, I've tried my best to introduce you, but, you know I didn't do you justice. Can you just tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a professor. I teach at Beulah Heights University. I'm
Yes.
chair of the Religious Studies and Leadership Department and the Business Department. So I'm an educator.
Yes.
I also do coaching and consulting.
Wow.
And so I'm a man of all seasons.
Yes, that's awesome. A man of all seasons. That's awesome. And, you know, I follow your ministry. And I know one of the things that you teach on is the subject of transformation. You know, the subject of transformation. And so, you know, what exactly, when you talk about transformation, whether it be spiritual or physical, what exactly is transformation and what is its significance?
Well, you know, transformation has been something that I have been studying for the last 15, 20 years. And matter of fact, my birthday is in April.
Oh, wow.
That's springtime. So
Yes.
Springtime is a symbol for transformation.
Wow.
So I was born to talk about transformation.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think first, you know, in starting any conversation about transformation, I always like to make a distinction between change and transformation. And I simply say that although change, you know, transformation involves change, but not all change involves transformation.
Wow.
Because when we get to talking about change, and I think that, you know, change is mostly modification. Sometimes we modify our behavior.
Yes.
But transformation launches us into a whole nother dimension.
Wow.
Where we literally become a new being, a new creation,
Wow.
as the Bible says. So when we're talking about transformation, we're talking about second level change. Whereas, you know, you have first level change, that's just behavior modification.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, because, you know, and that's the reason, you know, we're coming up to the first of the year, and everybody come up with these New Year's resolutions,
yes.
what they're going to do differently. But they will make the change, but they won't make the transformation.
Wow.
You know, say we want to lose weight, or we usually in most churches we start off fasting, and it always amazed me how people lose this weight, get spiritually fit, but then within a couple of months after that,
Wow.
they pick it back up.
Right.
But they just simply made a behavior modification.
Oh my goodness.
So when we're talking about transformation, we're talking about this deep level change that changed the way that we think.
Wow.
And that we look at life totally different in every area, our spiritual, our emotional, and our physical.
Wow. You know, I absolutely love what you said, because it's not only about behavior modification.
Yeah.
Because like you said, that's only level 1.
That's level 1. Yeah.
Well, if we want to actually, like you said, go to level 2,
Yeah.
we're talking about becoming something altogether brand new.
Yeah, and it gets messy when you go to level 2.
Wow. Yes.
It really gets messy. You know, in the Bible, in Romans 12:2, it says, "Be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." And that word renewing comes from a Greek word which simply means by the reconstruction.
Wow.
So if I was translating that verse, I would simply say, don't buy into the patterns and the behaviors of this life, but undergo a radical, revolutionary process of change that starts with reconstructing how you think.
Wow.
You know,
Wow. OMG. You said we have to go through a radical, revolutionary reconstruction of change.
Of the way
Wow.
of our thinking
Of our
process.
thinking process.
And that's the thing about transformation, that is it starts with deconstructing and reconstructing how we think.
Wow.
And the new mental content that we use to transform our thinking. So and most people, when they talk about transformation, they equate it to change. And that's the reason I like to make that distinction, that transformation is so much more than just behavior modification.
Wow.
It's talking about creating and becoming a brand new person. You know,
That's so amazing, like you said, because oftentimes, you know, when we hear that word transformation, we do make that mistake and we just take it as behavior modification. But I love what you're saying. I really feel like this is a revelation to a lot of people, because we are becoming something altogether different, altogether new.
Yeah, and you can, you know, it said, "Behold, it does not yet appear what we shall be, but we do know we shall be like him." Now, and I think that transformation is about an evolution, a continual evolving, a continual growth process. And one of the things that I noticed, and that led me on this journey, is that I noticed people coming to church and being there for years, making changes, but not making a transformation, and seemingly it looked like they were just stuck. And I think that what I discovered is that most of the times in church, and we have to be careful as we preach, as leaders, as ministers, as pastors, we're helping people make behavior modification, but are we helping them make a transformation?
Wow. That is so powerful. It's blowing my mind right now. Like it's like fireworks going off, because, you know, I mean, that concept alone, you know, like, we have to do more than change.
Yeah.
We have to transform.
We have to transform, and that comes with changing the way that we think. And I just developed 3 patterns, and I'm writing a new book and working on it. Hopefully I get it out by April. But I came up with 3 steps, you know, explore, expand, evolve. And the first step, exploring, means to self-discovery, looking back at our relationship history, you know, and going back to our family and rediscovering and exploring the patterns and the behaviors and the ways of thinking that we are demonstrating now in our present lives, where it started. So once we begin to explore, we begin to look at what are the patterns and the things that I learned from my family that's working for me.
Wow.
And what are those things that I learned that are sabotaging where I am right now?
Right.
Because we bring that emotional or that psychological history with us.
Yes.
Because we learn to be who we are from our family.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying all of it's bad, and I'm not saying all of it's good. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
and so, you know, we enter into every other relationship operating from that frame of reference.
That's true.
And that's the reason when we get into the institutional things of life, such as marriage, it requires a transformation.
Yes, it does.
It requires a transformation a total new way of thinking about being in relationship.
Wow. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Because I can even attest to that. Like before I was married, I had a certain mindset.
Yeah.
Because I was single, because I was independent. But in order to be, the wife and the mother that I needed to be, I had to give up some of that independency.
Yeah, definitely. Because when you look at your family dynamics and look at where you were born in the family, and you look at the dynamics of your mother and father relationship and how they related, well, they are modeling for us a pattern of behavior that we take with us to our next relationship.
Absolutely.
So in that first step of exploring, it's about going back to those painful places, those broken places, and rediscovering, looking at what did we learn from that, what did we take from that can help us continue to expand, and moving into the second step of expansion. And expanding means coming up with a new way of processing what you came out of. And this is about introducing new mental content, new ways of thinking about your life that can help you begin to make that transformation.
Absolutely. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Now, let me ask you a question, Dr. Jackson. Do you feel that, everyone needs to transform, regardless of the social status, the financial status? Do you really feel like it's significant that all of us, everyone, transform?
I do. I think that God set us up and created us in such a way that transformation is a part of our heritage.
Wow.
And if we look at our spiritual foundation, everything in the Bible and many other spiritual traditions is talking about how do we become this better individual, this better person, that we become better than what we were to become what our Creator created us to be. And when you look at it from a spiritual foundation, everything in us, God put everything in us to transform. I think we become frustrated when life becomes routine.
OMG.
Yeah.
OMG. That's a revelation, you guys, because, maybe someone under the sound of our voice has been experiencing, as you said, that frustration or that irritation, but it could be because, like you said, our lives have become routine.
Yeah.
And it's time to transform.
Right. And see, transformation is both, is exciting, but it's fearful because
absolutely.
I'm having to leave my comfort zone.
Oh, wow. Talk about that.
To leave my, because I have mastered my life to a certain extent the way that it is. I'm in control of it.
Right.
I got this routine, and the people I'm in relationship, they know me. But now when you're talking about becoming transformed or undergoing a transformation, you're talking about, as one author said, Robert Quinn, it's like walking through the land of wilderness naked. You're totally exposed, and now you're having to become something that you've never been before.
Wow.
And that's frightening.
Yes.
For a lot of us.
It is.
Because we have to leave the comfort and to take on something that's totally unknown.
Absolutely. I can honestly identify with that, and I feel like I'm in that transformation process of becoming, like you said, something I've never been before, doing something I've never done.
Yeah.
So I can honestly attest to that, even since the conception of this show and, just taking on this new role that I've been taking.
Yeah.
It has been, nerve-wracking at times. It has been frightening at times.
Right.
But like you said, you just have to push past it. And like we were talking about before the show, you just have to simply show up.
You got to show up and growth. And if you look at just a simple process of growth, the transition from growth and from a human development psychology, each growth phase that comes in our life comes with pain.
Wow.
It stretches us. It like you're doing this show. This is something new for you.
Yes.
But it's stretching you.
It is.
But in that stretching, transformation is taking place.
Yes.
Oliver Wendell Holmes said it this way, that, and I'm gonna make it. He said, a man or woman who has a mind which has
Yes.
been stretched to a new dimension,
Yes.
it's impossible for it to go back to its old dimension.
Oh, I love that.
And see, and that's one thing in the transformation process, and because our minds, one of the distinguishing characteristics, plasticity, is that the mind is shaped by every new event.
Wow.
Is shaped and it's impossible for you to go
my
back to
goodness.
it. So that's the reason in transformation you got to be open to be introduced to new experiences, new things that you never done before,
Wow.
because it's in you to do it. But
Wow.
now you just got to create and get in the environment that demands for it to come forth out of you.
Wow, I absolutely love that. You said that our mind is shaped by those new events.
Yes.
So it's so critical. It's so important. Like you said, that we continue to evolve and grow, that we step out, that we push past that fear, because that's the only way we're going to transform.
Right.
And yes.
Because that's the thing that for people who have been through trauma, the only thing that can help you overcome a
that's
trauma
good. That's
is a
good.
new experience.
Wow, I love that.
So
Yes.
that's the reason in this transformational process is all about expanding how you think about it. Because think about this, Maria, everything in life comes down to the perspective in how you're looking at it.
Incredible.
Some people can look at a situation and say, well, this is the end of the day. I don't have any other choice. I'm just going to fold in this, and this is it. But then some people can come into it and say, this is opportunity for a new beginning.
Yes.
and when you look at the Bible and other literature, you see people who refuse to buy into the situation.
That's it.
And and I think that's what our faith calls for us, to see things that don't exist
Yes.
as though they exist.
Yes.
But in order to go there, you got to have a transformation or a transformed mind that can handle new realities.
Yes, this is fantastic. I'm just enjoying myself. I have already learned so much. And I mean, when I think about you, I call you and I consider you to be the transformer. You're helping. Yes, you are the transformer. You're helping us to transform. And so now I want to ask you, was there ever a time in your life where you felt like that you had to transform, that you had to go through that transformation process?
Yeah, all of my life has been about that. As I said before, springtime is the symbol for transformation.
Yes.
So I was born in April.
Yes.
That's in the springtime. So it as I reflect and do self-discovery and become more self-aware, I begin to see how God set me up.
Yes.
I was born in a time of transformation. And as you say, the transformer, I like that. And I'm going to adopt that.
Yes.
So I'll pay you royalties on that. But I think that's what my life is about, teaching people how to transform their lives. And I think that every step, and as I reflect back on my life, it has been steps that have always kept me in a place of undergoing a continuous transformation.
Yes.
And that's another thing, that transformation is continuous. It's not an ending.
Wow.
We're always becoming, we're always evolving. And as we continue to expand our minds and learn new transformational information, that it keep us on this growth path.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. And when we talk about this transformation process, whether you're 22 or 33 or 44 or 79, like you said, we all have to go through this transformation process, and it's a continual process. And so, what are some, would you say, some practical ways that we can begin this transformation process? If I was to say, okay, so today, right now, I want to start this transformation process. What's one of the first steps that I can take?
Well, I came up with this idea drawing from John Maxwell's book, 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. He was talking about how he was talking to one of his mentors, and one of the mentors asked him, John, what is your growth plan?
Yes.
So
Wow.
I would start there and say, Maria, what is your growth plan? You know, where do you want to be 10 years from today?
Yes.
Where do you want to be 5 years from today? Because you got to have a vision of where you want to go.
Absolutely.
And then secondly, finding a healthy model. You know, who is your healthy
That's
model?
really good.
You know, who models for you where you want to be?
Absolutely.
You know, in whatever industry, whatever you're doing, finding that healthy model. And once we do that, then let's sit down and come up with a growth plan.
Wow.
And he, in that book, 50 Invaluable Laws of Growth, he talks about, you know, these laws of growth. He said the first one is, you know, knowing who you are.
Wow.
So he
Ooh, that's a big one.
he said because you got to know yourself in order to grow yourself.
Wow.
So
I love
that's
that.
about, you know, self-discovery and looking at what are the gifts and strengths that you bring with you to whatever it is you want to do. And then what are the things that you need to add to that.
Wow.
So I think the first step is sitting down and developing a growth plan. And I think that for those of us that want to go to the next level, you need a coach.
Absolutely.
You need somebody to coach you in this process. And you look at people in the world who are functioning at a high level. They have a coach or advisor to hold them accountable to what they're trying to accomplish.
Wow.
So I think the first step, let's sit down and talk about where do you want to be 10 years from today?
Absolutely. Where do you want to be 10 years from today, 5 years from today? And then I love how you said, you know, you have to have a coach.
Yeah.
You have to connect with someone, you know, that's greater than yourself, you know, that's able to see beyond where you are right now. And then I also love the part, you know, where you talked about not only having that coach, but you have to begin to know yourself.
Yeah.
And that can be a big one,
Yeah.
you know, because I mean, I even for me, you know, it was different times in my life where I had to ask myself the question, who am I?
Yeah. I remember, you know, sitting in a classroom in graduate school and the professor coming to me and saying, young man, who are you? and that was the first time I ever heard that question. And I said, well, I'm a minister. I'm a father. She said, no, that's what you do.
Oh, my goodness.
But who are you?
Wow.
And that perennial question began to haunt me and to agitate me because for the first time in my life, I didn't know who I was.
Wow.
Because who I was what I did.
Right.
And what you do is not who you are.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, so.
Can you say that again? I mean, that's powerful. Can you just say that again?
Yeah, so, you know, what you do is not who you are. You know, that's just what you do. You know, I'm a coach, I'm a professor, I'm a chair. These are all titles that I hold as a result of who I am.
Wow.
But, you know, because that can be taken away from you. But that doesn't define you.
Wow.
But who you are is something much more deeper, much more spiritual. You know, I've been created in the image of God.
Yes.
I've been given the ability to represent God here on earth. So that's where, you know, you're getting into the understanding of the power of transformation, because it's about self-discovery. It's about taking the limits off of your life.
Wow.
And realizing that because you've been created in the image of God, there's nothing that you cannot do.
Wow. That is so powerful. That's so powerful because, like you said, who we are and what we do, that's two different things.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's so, you know, that's so common that people will, you know, actually identify and say, well, I'm a teacher, I'm a mother, but that's what you do.
Yeah, and that's the danger of social media, and I tell people is that social media can be like a drug because it triggers those dopamines in your brain that you get caught up into image, you know, and that's what but people don't realize, you know, you can put on a new suit, you can have a new car, but if there's nothing that has taken place on the inside, those are just band-aids, bandages for a wounded spirit, a broken person. So it's about discovering, that first law is the law of the mirror, You got to know yourself in order to grow yourself.
Wow.
And you got to be comfortable with discovering the uncomfortable things about yourself.
Oh, that's good.
Because, and I always tell people transformation it requires going into doing dirty work.
Yes.
Getting down in the ditch with a person.
Absolutely.
And so that's the reason, most of us settle for just helping you modify your behavior. But to work with you, to take you to that place that you're becoming something new, is a process that's going to require confronting some dragons that's within you.
Yes.
Joseph Campbell, I think about him, as he called it the hero journey. And he said in every hero narrative, the hero has to take this journey. To go fight this mythical protagonist, creature.
Yes.
And he takes, and it's no guarantee that he's going to come back.
Wow.
But one thing he says that you're not going to come back the same.
That's right.
But when you go fight this mythical journey, the dragon, you're going to discover the dragon you were fighting is a dragon that is within you.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I think that we are our greatest enemy, and once we can defeat, and discipline ourselves, then there's no limit to what we can do, and that's what transformation is all about to me. It's about this whole process that the caterpillar goes through in order to become the butterfly.
Yes,
absolutely. That the caterpillar crawls on the ground, then spins a cocoon, and he crawls up in that cocoon.
Yes.
But while he's in that cocoon, he dissolves, and this new cells of a new being shows up. And within that process of undergoing this transformation, the caterpillar is not coming out of that cocoon the same way that caterpillar went in that cocoon.
That's right.
And when the caterpillar comes out of that cocoon, it's going to come out a whole new creation. And it's a struggle for this new creation, the butterfly, to get out of that cocoon. But it's in the struggle that this butterfly gets strength in its wings to fly through life.
Wow.
So
you guys, he's talking about us. He's talking about us.
and if you want to relate it spiritually, scripturally, Jesus, had to enter into the tomb in order to become the savior of the world.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
So he had to die to his old self. And that's the reason, is recognizing that the old self that we need to die to in order to become the new self in what God is creating us to do. I mean, you had to die to the old Maria.
Yes.
Before this radio show.
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely.
and become this new Maria in order to be able to do this. And the thing of it is that your group, your relationship network, everybody's not going to like the change or the transformation you're undergoing. So you have to leave some old relationships.
Yes, sir.
In order to be able to embrace some new relationships.
Absolutely.
For what God is doing in this transformation process that you're going through.
Wow. I can definitely identify with what you're saying about it could be messy.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, when you was talking about even with their butterfly and those wings and how it's a struggle.
Yeah.
But they're getting stronger.
Yeah.
Because I am going through that process, right now.
Yeah.
Like you said, everyone's not going to be happy.
No, they're not. They because the thing about relationship network is that we like balance.
Yes.
Like in the family, and that going back to the family, it's balance when we're all acting the way that it takes for the family to be in harmony.
Yes.
But once you change the behavior, it throws the family into chaos.
Yes.
And any system, such as a family, will fight to maintain that.
Wow.
So same thing with transformation. It's going to call you out and cause you to be something new that your old relationships can't handle.
Wow. Wow, you guys. And you know, that's an encouraging word for somebody that, you know, maybe you're going through that transformation process and you may feel like you're losing some friends or some people are falling away. But guess what, you guys? It's okay. It's all a part of the process. Well, you guys, we have to take a quick commercial break, but I want you to keep it locked right here. You're listening to WIGO 1570 AM Radio.
Thank you for tuning in to The Conversation with Maria Byrd.
So let's have this conversation
On WIGO 1570 AM Radio.
You can connect with Maria Byrd here Fridays on The Conversation at 11 a.m. Go to www.mariabyrd.org. You can sign up for her newsletter. Check out the latest from The Conversation. You can be the next guest, have your song featured, or donate to the cause. Learn about marketing opportunities. Check out the giveaways, special promotions, free tickets, and the latest from Maria Byrd Publications. Again, log on to www.mariabyrd.org. That's www.mariabyrd.org.
WIGO 1570 AM Radio.
I need y'all to stand up on your feet. And can you do this for me? Can you clap your hands like this? Come on. Amazing, you said.
Amazing, incredible.
You are to me.
You are to me.
Now say wonderful,
Wonderful,
powerful.
powerful.
Nobody beats our King.
Beats our King.
Almighty,
Almighty,
magnificent, perfect in all your ways.
perfect in all your ways.
Now say excellent,
Excellent,
glorious, forever your kingdom reigns. Here we go. Lord, you are so awesome. Say,
Lord, you are so
glad I'm a part. Say,
that I'm a part of you.
come on and say, glad I'm a part.
That I'm a part of you.
Say it again, glad I'm a part.
That I'm a part of you.
One more time, say it.
That I'm a part of you.
Y'all got it again. Come on, we're going to sing that verse again. Say, amazing,
Amazing,
incredible,
incredible.
you are to me.
You are to me.
Now say wonderful,
Wonderful,
powerful.
powerful.
Nobody beats our King.
beats our King.
Now say almighty,
Almighty,
magnificent.
magnificent.
You're perfect in all your ways.
perfect in all your
Now
ways.
say this, say excellent,
Excellent,
glorious,
glorious,
wherever your kingdom reigns. Here we go, let's go right here, Lord.
Lord, you are so
Here we go. Glad I'm a part, say.
that I'm a part of you.
Say it, come on.
That I'm a part of you.
Come on and sing it again.
That I'm a part of you.
Come on, say glad I'm a part.
That I'm a part of you.
Now say this, I don't even want to know.
I don't want to know what it's like to be without you.
I don't want to live a
I
moment.
don't want to live a moment
Without your love.
Without your love.
You know why? There's no place like your presence.
There's no place like your
No
presence.
place.
No place like in your
There's no
arms.
place.
There's no place like your presence.
No place like in your arms.
Like in
Take it
your
up and say.
arms. There's no place like your presence. No place like in your arms. There's no place
Here we go.
like your presence.
Come on, say.
That I'm a part of you.
You say.
That I'm a part of you.
Come on. Now everybody in this room, come on. Clap your hands. Anybody got joy in this room? Come on. Let me hear you raise your praise and worship in this room. I love this part. As soon as you got it, I want you to sing it. It goes like this. Come on. You're the greatest,
Greatest,
the best,
the best,
There's nobody like you.
Nobody like you.
You're the greatest.
Greatest.
The best.
The best.
And I'm glad I'm a part of you.
Glad I'm a part of you.
You're the greatest.
Greatest.
The best.
The best.
There's nobody like you.
Nobody like you.
You're the greatest.
Greatest.
The best.
The best.
And I'm glad I'm a part of you. Now give my glory. Come on. Come on, let's do it again.
You're the greatest. Greatest. The best. The best. There's nobody like you. Nobody like you. You're the greatest. Greatest. The best. The best. I'm glad I'm a part of you. Glad I'm a part of you. You're the greatest. Greatest. The best. The best. There's nobody like you. Nobody like you. You're the greatest. Greatest. The best. The best. I'm glad I'm a part of you.
Say right now, come on. You're the greatest.
Greatest. The best. The best. There's nobody like you. Nobody like you. You're the greatest. Greatest. The very best. The best. And I'm glad I'm a part of you. Glad I'm a part of you. I'm glad I'm a part of you. Glad I'm a part of you. I'm glad I'm a part of you. I'm glad I'm a part of you. I'm glad I'm a part of you. Glad I'm a part of you. I'm glad I'm a part of you. Glad I'm a part of you.
Come on, somebody give God glory. Glad I'm a part, say, glad I'm a part of you. Glad I'm a part, you say.
Glad I'm a part of you.
Come on, let's sing to the Lord. Say, glad I'm a part.
Glad I'm a part of you.
Last time right here, say glad. Glad I'm a part of you. Now give God your best praise. Come on. If you're glad to be part of our God's kingdom, come on and give God glory in this room.
Thank you for tuning in to The Conversation with Maria Byrd
So let's have this conversation.
on WIGO 1570 AM radio.
Back. What's up, you guys? Welcome back. You are listening to The Conversation with Maria Byrd. I want you guys to be sure to connect with me. Check out my website at www.mariabyrd.org. Guys, make sure that you join my newsletter because on next week, we're going to be having some great giveaways. Again, that's www.mariabyrd.org. Don't miss those giveaways. Also, you just heard the hit song Glad I'm a Part of You from the Harvest Tabernacle Recording Choir CD. Guess what? It's available for purchase right now on iTunes and all digital media outlets. Where you guys, we are back and I'm here with my special guest, Dr. Rodney B Jackson. Welcome back, you guys. Well, before the break, we were just having the best conversation ever. We were talking about the power of transformation and those different practical ways in order for us to transform. And so, Dr. Jackson, I wanted to ask you, does our transformation help others to transform?
Yes. Because you think about it, Maria, throughout history.
Yes.
Those individuals such as Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, and even our current former president, Barack Obama. These have been individuals that have undergone a transformation to do what they did, what they have done for the world and how they have impacted the world. So I believe that one person can bring about a transformation in many other people.
Wow.
Because as we model a transformational behavior, it impacts others.
Absolutely.
It puts you in a leadership, and leadership is about influence. So we look to great figures to give us a roadmap to how we can do it.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. I love how you said that, that transformation, it not only helps others to transform, but as we, like you said, step out and begin to transform, it has everything to do with leadership.
Yes.
So does that mean that every leader should transform?
Every leader, yes, should be, let me put it this way, should be a transformer.
Wow.
And I say it that way is that it's about becoming intentional and proactive, and at another level, even becoming conscious that's what leadership is all about.
Wow.
It's about, inspiring people to reach the next level, to become this special person that God have called us to be.
Wow.
So it's more than about, using social media or to get on there to show all this other stuff.
Yes.
But it's about how do you model a transformed life.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so important, like you said, to not only transform, but to live that out for others so that they can transform.
Right.
It's all about, not just, it's just not all about us.
No, it's not. It's not. Because you think about Nelson Mandela, how can a person stay in prison for over 20-something years and come out of prison and transform a nation?
Wow.
Right. Then think about it.
Absolutely.
His body went to prison, but his mind did not.
Now that was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And see, that's the thing about transformation, that it impacts us at a spiritual, at a psychological, which is our emotions and our feelings and our will, and at a physical level.
Yes.
But nothing great happens in your life without personal transformation.
Wow.
So it starts with you taking, developing and coming up with the courage that I want to transform my life. And one of the steps that I encourage people, you have to put yourself in a structured environment, just like the caterpillar going into the cocoon, where that's a structured environment, so that this radical and revolutionary process of change that we call transformation can take place.
Wow.
And most people don't put themselves in a structured environment where it can happen.
Wow. I love this. Absolutely. This is so fantastic because, as you was talking about that transformation process, like you said, it's critical that we get in an environment that's conducive.
Yeah.
For transformation.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's so easy to blame everyone else for the way our lives is going.
Yeah.
And
a good example I have about the environment, I'm not a plant guy, but someone gave me a plant, and it came in a little small pot.
Yes.
And I put it, it was in that little pot, and I hardly ever watered the plant. You know how it go, and it just stayed over there. And one day it just came to me, well, why don't you take that plant out of that little small pot? And I went to Home Depot and bought a bigger pot and put the dirt in there and put the plant in there. An amazing thing happened.
What happened?
The plant began to grow.
Oh, my God.
It began to grow. It began to grow bigger than it was in that little small pot.
Oh, my goodness.
And see, I call that the law of the environment. You got to be in an environment that can handle or provide the space for you to transform.
Wow.
Because your environment will shape how you grow. If you're in a small environment, you got, you're the smartest person in your environment.
Right.
How in the world do you expect to grow? So that's part of the transformational process is understanding the importance of environment and how that environment, that caterpillar has to be in that cocoon and has to stay in that cocoon until the process is complete.
Wow. We have to stay in that cocoon until the process is complete.
Yeah, until it's complete. And what happens to that caterpillar is that it turns into, the caterpillar totally dissolves and turns into a milky product.
Yes.
But pretty soon in that milky product, in that cocoon, these cells, the butterfly cells, start showing up.
Oh my goodness.
and that's where the transformation takes place.
And what I got out of that, as you was talking, because like you said, that caterpillar, before it's, it's the caterpillar, and then it turns into, like you said, that milky product or that milky substance.
Yeah.
And then it shifts into, that butterfly. And what I love about that is that sometimes it looks like it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Before it gets better.
Yeah, it does, And and that's what happened in the transformational process. It gets worse. Because everything is changing. All of your habitual ways of thinking, your securities and what you had secure are being taken away from you because you're becoming something new.
Yes.
You're becoming a whole new creation, as the Bible says,
Yes.
that have never existed before. You know, the Maria that started
Yes.
this station and this program
Yes.
is not here anymore.
Thank you, Jesus.
And you can begin to see how all of the scripture lines up. That when Paul talks, he said, you got to die.
Yes.
You got to die in order to become something new. So the old me, the Rodney that was 10 years ago,
Yes.
is no longer.
Is no more.
Is no more.
Yes.
He's dead.
Yes.
This is the new me.
Wow.
And the Rodney that's going to be 10 years is going to have to die to who I am now.
That's right.
To become
That's right.
who God has created me to be.
That's right.
And when you look at that, I think William Bridges says it this way. He said, you made the change, but you didn't make the transition.
Yes.
And what he was and what he was talking about, that the transition was that the transition, in order to make the change, you got to go through this psychological mental shift in order to handle a new reality.
Oh, and I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you talked about that psychological mental shift. Because guess what? That was my next question.
Yeah.
Do our thoughts play a part in the transformation process?
Your thoughts play everything in the transformational process. If we could look at our brains right now on the MRI,
Yes.
screen, what you would see is lights going off, little sparks, because every thought in the brain produces a electrical response. That's the reason when you walk along on the carpet and you drag your feet and you
Yes.
touch something,
Yes.
it spark. Well, the body is nothing but an energy field
Wow.
that's driven by how you're thinking. And you can tell long before a person get close to you, you can feel the energy
Yes, you can.
coming from them.
Yes,
you know,
you can.
I compare it to this Peanut character,
Yes.
in that cartoon.
Yes.
And they had one person that they called Pigpen. And I think that people, because they are thinking negative, they produce this aura about themselves,
Wow.
this energy that long before they say anything, you can already tell
That's right.
how they are thinking. But when you're thinking, that's when it says, it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And you can tell people who are positive about life,
Right.
upbeat about life, by the way that long before they open up their mouth, because you feel a presence and an energy coming
Yes.
from them. Now,
Wow.
we can call it many things, anointing and all of those things, but just on a ground zero level,
Yes.
I'd say it's either positive or negative energy.
Right.
Because it comes from how we think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that. That transformation process has everything to do with the thoughts that we think.
Yeah.
And the thoughts that we think have everything to do with that energy that we are giving off. And, I think that's, touching into that law of attraction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, we're receiving what we're
Right.
putting out.
We're putting out, and you are attracting what you're putting out.
Wow.
And plain and simple. And I think the Bible, you say you reap what you sow.
Wow,
So,
that's it.
But if we look at our Lord and Savior, I believe that he walked at such a high mental level.
Yes.
In tune with the Father, and his life aligned, and he not only just did this on Sunday morning, but he did this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
right.
And not only did he do it part of the day, but he did it all of the day.
Yes.
So transformation is, how do we stay in this mental state
Yes.
that can produce the things that God has destined for our lives.
Wow. And I love you. Guess what, Dr. Jackson? We have come to one of the questions that I have been waiting to ask you. What happens if a person refuses to transform?
You know, if they refuse to transform, I think what happens is that you see the most lowest level of underfunctioning of a person that you can ever see. Because God created us to transform. Mm-hmm. But when a person, and God will not override our will, but I think that we see a person that is lonely, that is bitter, that is very negative about life.
Wow. You know, I know some individuals, and they have, you know, these phrases. They'll say things like, well, you know, this is how I am. This is just how I am, and this is how I'm always gonna be. Yeah. Or you hear some, you know, it's a phrase that, you know, you can't teach old dog new tricks. Yeah. You know, these are different things and mantras that people will actually identify with. They will live their life according to these sayings, and these are examples of individuals that are refusing to transform.
Right.
But like you said, if you refuse to transform, you're gonna be underdeveloped. You're gonna be bitter. You're not gonna be happy with your life.
Right. And psychologically, what I hear when a person say that or using those terms that you have bought into, you know, what the world has said about you. You have bought into what your environment. And I try to challenge them, but you have heard that. But how do you think about that?
Wow.
You know, and that's what, you know, transformation is about, interrupting a negative thinking pattern and embracing and empowering thinking pattern that can cause you to live, as Oprah say, your best life.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
And I think that people hide behind those terms in order to stay in a place of safety and comfort. And I would even add on to it a victimization.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
A victimization. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
You know, with people, you know, it's a comfort for a lot of people to be the victim. You know,
that's good.
You know, and it is sort of protect them from having to take responsibility for their lives.
Wow.
You know, and I think the thing about emotional maturity and about becoming an adult is the accepting I am responsible for my life. I am responsible for the outcomes in my life.
Wow.
And I am owning that responsibility. But when you're a victim, you're saying it's everybody else's fault.
Wow.
That I am the way that I am.
Absolutely.
And it's everybody, and it's up to everybody else to help me.
Well, you know, I had to stop and laugh because I know people that's like that.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard people, you know, say things similar to that, you know, I'm like this because of my childhood.
Yeah.
I'm like this because of what I went through.
Yeah.
But you're really like that because you refuse to transform.
Yeah, you refuse to transform. You refuse to take responsibility. And I tell people words are powerful. And sometimes you need to stop and pause and reflect, you know, push the pause button and say, now, do I really believe that, you know, that you can't teach an old dog new trick? I am the way I am. This is just the way I mean, and really unpack that and deconstruct that and say, now, what am I saying? What am I saying about all that God has invested in me, all that God has put in me? If I can do all things through Christ, well, how does that line up with that statement and what I'm saying out of my mouth? So,
absolutely.
So a lot of people like to be the victim because there's certain comforts that come along with the victim. I think about Jesus talking to the man at the pool and said, you know, asking him, will I be made whole? And the man said, well, you know, every time they trouble the water, you know, but Jesus said, will you be made whole?
That's right.
And that's a question, are you willing to take personal responsibility in your own healing process?
Wow. I love that. We have to take responsibility in our own healing process.
Yeah. Because
like you said, oftentimes we'll be looking for a handout. We'll play the victim and, you know, we'll be blaming everybody else for what we've been experiencing for our life, what's going on. But like you said, we have to take responsibility.
Yeah. You know, in every area, if it's a relationship, you're in a relationship and it's not what you want it to be, well, what responsibility are you willing to accept, or how you might be contributing to this relationship being the way that it is? So it starts with this personal responsibility that starts with a renewed mind that's thinking differently about and embracing the possibilities.
Wow. We're almost to the close of the show, but can you take about 3 minutes and just, encourage those that may be listening, those that are watching? Can you just encourage them to transform?
I want to start and say to you, those of you that's listening to this, that remember this one statement that I discovered, that nothing great can happen in your life without personal transformation. And I say the word personal because it has to start with you taking ownership of it, you becoming intentional and proactive about your own life, and recognizing that to transform means to live over and above and beyond the limits in your life. That God have created you in such a way that he has put this ability to change everything about your life and live it in a way that glorify him. And not only that, but make you a winner in every area of your life. Not only just spiritually, but psychologically and emotionally and physical, that you can look like what God has created you to be. So I just want to encourage you that it's more than just change. It's more than just behavior modification, but it's about this deep inner work that you got to do within yourself. And it all starts with simply changing the way that you think.
Wow, you guys, this was an awesome show. We have to transform. And who none other to let us know and tell us and teach us about transformation than the transformer himself, Dr. Rodney B Jackson. Now, I know that you have a book. Can you just really quickly just tell us about your book?
Well, in the spring, around my birthday, I'm going to release it and produce it. Been working on it a couple of years, and it's a compilation of all of the transformative knowledge that I have learned about transformation, and it's going to be 6 steps to transform your life. So it's going to be a practical self-help book, and I'm pulling from a lot of discipline, pulling from my spiritual discipline as well as my psychological sociology, all of these disciplines, to see what are those key steps to help one transform his or her life. So I'm excited about it because now is the season, and that I'm going to release it. So stay tuned and listen for it, and I'll be working with Eric, and he's going to help me get it out there, and so that you can purchase a copy of it. But I'm really passionate about people transforming their lives, and that's my mission, to teach people how to take personal responsibility in transforming their own lives.
Absolutely. Wow. This was an awesome show, and I just want to take the time to thank my special guest for coming. It's truly an honor. My husband and I, we absolutely love your ministry.
Thank you.
Every time you have come to the Harvest Tabernacle Church, and we absolutely love every time you come. It's such revelation and such wisdom, and thank you so much for just coming on. We don't take it for granted. So again, I just wanted to say thank you, Dr. Jackson.
I just want to say to you, Maria, I'm indebted to you because you're giving me an opportunity to be a voice, and I thank God for the work that you're doing, and I just want to continue to encourage you, continue to keep transforming.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, you guys, this was a great show. Dr. Jackson, are you willing to come back?
I am. Anytime you want me to come back, I have enjoyed myself. I would definitely come back.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in today. This was an awesome show. Listen, we have something awesome prepared for you on next week. So, you guys, I want you to just take the things that we learned on today regarding transformation, because you know what? It's not just about behavior modification. Oh, no. Well, we have to become brand new creatures. We have to transform. And so, you guys, I thank you so much for tuning in to this particular show, and I want you to keep it locked next week, same time, same place, on WIGO 1570 AM radio.
It's a touchdown. Finally found me someone I can really trust now. I always had so much to say.
Thank you for tuning in to The Conversation with Maria Byrd every Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on WIGO 1570 AM radio.
So let's have this conversation like a radio station.
WIGO AM 1570, Laurel, Atlanta.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the show. I want you guys to keep it locked right here next week. I want to thank my special guest, Dr. Rodney B Jackson, and I want you to keep it locked right here next week, same time, same place on WIGO 1570 AM radio.